performance.
Thank you very much. My name is Matthew McCutcheon. I'm the Director of Bands at USF, and it is my great privilege to welcome you to this concert. I have a few announcements and a few people to thank, and then we'll get going as quickly as possible. The first thing, if you don't mind, if you would pull out your phone and either cut it off or put it on airplane mode, that helps with the live stream, because when there's so much going on, the live stream bumps. So if you don't mind just switching over to airplane, that'll be helpful. This is a massive event, and there are lots and lots and lots of people that it takes in order for it to work. And I'm going to run down a bunch of names real quickly. First, Chris Garvin, who's the director, who's the dean of the College of Design, Art, and Performance. We've just changed our name. And David Williams, who's the director of the School of Music. We have in the back, sitting behind the sound, Lee Welcher and Jay Sparticelli. They control these facilities, and which have been in constant use for the past 4 days. We're very grateful. Thank you, Lee. Are there any band directors in the audience? Band directors, would you please stand up? They do not have to be here. It's Sunday. They don't have to be here. They don't get any time off, and yet they're the few people on the planet who love your children almost as much as you do. And so we thank you for supporting this. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you more than you know. I need to thank the USF faculty who has given master classes and chamber concerts over the week. Arupa Gopal Campbell, who's out in the back, who's been our lead administrator. There have been 50 to 60 USF undergraduate students who have helped do everything from set up rooms to pass out food. None of this would work without them. Each band has had a percussion assistant. The one in this particular band is Alexa Rojas, who's helped constantly. We have had 8 counselors who I think are probably all asleep right now, who have taken care of us at night. There are 3 people, I'm not sure if they're in here or not, but I really want you to meet the graduate students. None of this would happen without the graduate students. If they're not asleep now, they will be at about 2:05. Jamie Dittburner has been in charge of this band. Jamie, are you in here? Oh, they're all back in the back. Jamie, Daniel Greenwood, and Alain Rodriguez, thank you so much. So much work. This happens because of them. So a round of applause for everybody. And finally, we have 2 of the USF Band's faculty members that I'd like to introduce you to. This is Devin Didon, who's sitting right here. Devin has a gazillion jobs, but her big job this weekend was that she was in charge of the hotel. So many of you have heard from her and met her. She made sure that all of your children came back safe and sound, so thank you, Devin. And sitting right in front of Devin is Trevor Butts, and he didn't do much at all this weekend. So Trevor is the Associate Director of Bands. He's in charge of the athletic bands. Everything sort of runs through him. So these 2 are extraordinary colleagues, extraordinary musicians, and they care very deeply about all around, everything around them. So Trevor and Devin, thank you. So a few housekeeping things. When you leave, when this concert is over, they're going to go back in the back at their stuff. They'll come around here. They'll meet you out in the lobby. At that point in time, they are done. You can go home. You do not need to stay around for the rest of it. Please make sure they take everything they came with. We always find about 30 folding stands at the end of the week, and we don't really have any use for them. So if you'll please take them home, that would be great. We have had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week of concerts and master classes and performances and everything from a flute trio to rap. And we just really wanted them to see the terrific things that are happening at USF. And we've loved your students. They are funny, they are bright, they are intelligent, they are talented, and thank you for sharing them with us. First band is, the conductor of the first band is Dr. Scott Tobias. My number 1 goal with this festival is to bring in world-class clinicians, and we really did it this time. I'm super proud of this. Dr. Tobias, I met when I was 18 years old, and I was auditioning at Furman University, and I don't know why, I do know why I remember him. His hair looked exactly the same then as it does now. He's standing by the Pepsi machine. He and I have been really good friends for about 34 years at this point in time. Dr. Tobias has taught in public schools in South Carolina and in Georgia. He spent many years as the Associate Director of Bands at Appalachian State University, North Carolina, was at a small school in Orlando for a little while, and is now at West Virginia University, where his band just finished marching in the Macy's Parade about a week and a half ago or so. So it's been a very, very busy time for him. He's an extraordinary musician and an even better person. Would you please welcome Dr. Scott Tobias.
Thank you very much. While they're switching, I'll let you know a little bit about what we're playing today. That opening march is called The Governor's Own. It's written by Alton Adams. Alton Adams is early 20th century, late 19th century. He had the distinction of being the first African-American naval commander of a military band. He grew up in the Virgin Islands and had a municipal band there. And when World War I happened and the United States took over the Virgin Islands, they heard his band and said, "You guys are great. We want to use you within the Navy." And they gave him a position. He ended up being the chief petty officer, and he ran that band. And he ended up getting transferred to D.C. after a while. His hero growing up was John Philip Sousa, so the march sounds a lot like Sousa, because Alton Adams was trying to emulate the Sousa band at the time. So this next piece we're going to do is called Big Four on the River. It's by Jim David. Dr. David is currently a professor of composition at Colorado State University. He was a classmate of mine, actually, at the University of Georgia. We were in grad school together. Dr. David has written this piece with the idea of the big four cities, or four of the big cities, that were located on the river, like New Orleans, St. Louis on the Mississippi River, Savannah on the Savannah River, but big cities that were important with jazz. And so we tried to use some jazz riffs, and if you happen to be a jazz aficionado, you know the tune Salt Peanuts. You may hear some rhythms that sound a lot like Salt Peanuts, which is a really Dizzy Gillespie tune. So this is going to be Big Four on the River by Jim David. It's going to have some weird rhythms, some jazz harmonies, some interesting dance moves, but it all works together like a jigsaw puzzle in the end. Big Four on the River. Our next composition is from the pen of composer Julie Giroux. Julie Giroux got her degree from Louisiana State University and then went right into working for Bill Conti. Those of you of an older generation might recognize Bill Conti's name. Very famous for film and TV scores, Rocky and other things along those lines. And she started off working as his transcriber and then became his arranger, and then she became her own composer. She's won Grammy Awards and Emmy Awards for a lot of her film scoring, but she writes a lot of band music. She's a band aficionado, and she really feels like band is a worthy and valid artistic genre, and so she has a large catalog of band works. This particular piece is called One Life Beautiful, and it was written for Ray Kramer. Ray Kramer was longtime director of bands at Indiana University, has since retired, but Ray's daughter Heather was a big fitness buff, would go out and run, would go out and bike, and unfortunately, one morning, several years ago, as she was biking, was struck by an automobile and lost her life. And so Julie wanted to write this piece of music for the Kramer family. As we all know, music sometimes in times of tragedy really helps to heal. And so this was her intent, was to try to help heal and try to pay respects. And so the piece is dedicated to Heather Kramer, and she has two meanings in her title. She said, One Life Beautiful, she wanted to recognize Heather's life, that she was one life beautiful. But at the same time, she wanted to encourage all of us that we only have one life to live, so we should live it beautifully every single day. So it's a beautiful piece of music, very different from the rhythms we just played. Gorgeous work that I hope will speak to you somehow. I think it's spoken to all of us as we've worked on it. This is called One Life Beautiful by Julie Giroux. just one last selection for you this morning. I'm pulling my notes out, make sure I don't forget somebody. Just want to take a moment while they're resetting to thank Dr. McCutcheon and his staff around here. As he mentioned to you, we have known each other for 30 some years, and it's been a great friendship. It's always good to come down. He called last month and said, I need you. I said, I'll be right there. And so thanks for the invitation to come down. And thanks to Dr. Butts and Ms. Dudon and everyone else here at USF for the kind hospitality the last few days. Also want to thank the staff and all the graduate students, especially Jamie Dittberner, who's been right there the entire time to help out with everything we need. Also want to thank Alexo Rojas for all the help with the percussion section. And also thanks to Luke Rutt for filling in and playing piano a little bit earlier. So it takes a team to make things work. When you see a place that's working well, like here at USF, you know it's because of a great team. And so thank you all for that. Also, students, thank you. This is always one of the most interesting, special things. It never ceases to amaze me how you get a bunch of students from various different places, different backgrounds. You throw them together for the first time, and 8 hours later you do a concert. It's astounding. And so thank you, students, for all your work. It's been a blast. They even laughed at some of my bad jokes, which is always good for me. And thank you for that, seriously. Yeah. That'll get me back home at least. Parents, thank you for your support of music. Directors that are in the audience are around. This doesn't happen without the great teachers that are going on, without the parental support. So we thank you as well for all that you are doing. Dr. McCutcheon and I sometimes, if we're doing the same clinic, it depends on who goes first as to who gets to steal the story. But I'm by myself today, so I'll steal the story from him. The story goes during World War II that Winston Churchill was approached by some of his advisors who said to him, Mr. Prime Minister, we think we need to take some of the funding that's set aside for the arts, and we need to repurpose it for the war effort. At which point, Winston Churchill supposedly said, gentlemen, if we do that, then what exactly are we fighting for? And I think that says volumes, that music is not something we do, it's who we are. It's a representation of us as our culture. So thank you all for that support of that. This last piece is by a relatively new composer. He's in his 20s. His name is Kataj Copley, and this piece is called Ayo, A-Y-O. And it's another way of saying hello. And so this is just a fun piece that you could do as an opener or a closer. We're saying hello even though we're saying goodbye. It's our last piece on the program, but hello to the next ensemble that comes on. So thanks again for your time. It's been a pleasure. This is Ayo by Kataj Copley.
Thank you very much. They're all yours. If we have to clear this out to set up for the next one. Lee, do we still want them going out this door? Is that what we prefer? If we leave this door, it'll make it easy for people to come in this way. And they will meet you, students will meet you out in the lobby.